Allison, and this is my EDL854 Educational Finance Module 3 Activity Fund Safeguard. So when we talk about activity funds, the safeguards, are the general accounting procedures that are designed to meet any important financial objectives that the school might have. So I have set my presentation up into two sections. You'll notice on the left side is the School Money Matters information out of the book, with the right side being our district and state information. So when we first talk about guidelines for spending school activity funds, I feel like our district and our state really align with the School Money Matters book. We need to make sure that the funds are being used in accordance to all local and state policy, as well as the TEA Financial Accountability System Resource Guide. And some ways that they do align, I feel like, are that they need to be used for the purpose of the organization. The funds need to make sure that they are benefiting the students that raise the funds. Each organization then will maintain a carryover of funds if there are any at the end of the year. And the funds need to be used for the district in educational purposes. So if we look at characteristics of a sound internal control system, when I look at Textline ISD, when we talk about reasonableness, we currently have one business manager who is audited both internally and externally each year. She has been with the district for about 25 years now, has always received an A+ rating in any audits that we have received. Timeline. When we're looking at any duties that need to be performed in talking about our financial, not only are there duties that need to be done monthly, but there are, of course, ones that need to be done yearly. She's very good about keeping up with everybody, making sure that she lets everybody know when the cutoff time is for taking POs or purchases or receipts or anything like that. When we look at the reality at Textline ISD, our financial information is actually held off-site in two separate locations. The superintendent's office is not in the main building, so we have financial information that is held there, as well as our Region 16, which is in Amarillo. And then the commitment. We need to make sure that the policies and procedures are being followed every month, and they're being reviewed. At Textline ISD, the business manager goes through the procedures. The administration then reviews it, as well as the school board. When we look at internal controls, I put preventative, detective, and corrective all together because when we look at the policy, it does outline how all of that is going to be going together. The superintendent shall maintain a system of internal controls. These controls are for reviewing all of the financial information that comes in or goes out of the district. And then we also have the Local Government Records Act. This is to maintain not only financial records, but all records that the school has. Basic general accounting controls for the school accounting system. Each employee or anybody who has any financial reports or transactions that they will be using must have an honest and ethical behavior, and they need to understand that anything that they do will be audited and will be looked at by numerous people. The superintendent and the school board will maintain internal controls that will look for any impropriety and then be able to correct those. This is all, again, outlined by at least 8 steps in the Financial Accountability System Resource Guide. Control for cash receipts. When we're looking at how money is taken into the district, if an organization is collecting funds, they need to make sure that they have a receipt for every dollar that they are receiving, and then that money is then turned over to the business manager who makes the final deposits. Those deposits then will go into the individual accounts and be tracked through the individual accounts and then under the school as a whole. Each organization that collects funds will receive an accounting each month of where their funds have been deposited and any funds that have been taken out. So when we look at controls for cash disbursements and issuing checks, the business manager or any other person that's designated to issue checks, to pay bills or reimbursements. They will do that monthly. The school board then reviews the budget and approves the funds that need to be issued. POs are issued in numerical order. They must have the approval at the bottom of the purchase from the organizational leader and or the sponsor, as well as the principal, and then the final sign off on the business manager. And then when determining the school's true balance, financial reports are maintained monthly. They're submitted to both the administration and the school board. So when I look at the policies and procedures that Textline ISD currently has, they do have the policies and procedures in place both at the state and district level. But I have been at this district for 13 years, and something I have noticed in the last 4 or 5 years that the school and administration has become very lax on following those policies and procedures. Some of the things that I have been noticing is POs are not being used before purchases. If a PO is used, it's usually used after the fact, after the purchase is made, so that there can be a record of it for the business manager. Most purchases anymore are not being done through POs. They're being handled through credit cards because there's a lot of online ordering that goes on. The problem I have found with this is that pretty much if you are working at the district, you can go up to one of the administrators or somebody else that has a credit card and say, hey, I need to use a credit card to order blah, 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 blah. And you're probably going to get the credit card. Something that has occurred is that we have had fraud with the credit card. Unfortunately, at the beginning of this last year, there was an unknown charge of like $900 and some that was fraud. And so, of course, that card was canceled. But unfortunately, I didn't notice that the policies were ever really put back into effect the way they needed to be. Another thing that I've been noticing a lot more of is that receipts are not being turned into the business manager the way that they have been in the past. She's having to come around monthly and ask, did you make this purchase? What organization was this made for? And different things like that. So that has made it, I think, a lot harder on her. She's been doing this job so long that she understands or sees and knows where a lot of purchases need to go, but unfortunately new employees coming in aren't following the policies and procedures, and I think that we're just kind of really setting ourselves up for a big disaster that could happen. Well, thank you so much for watching my video.